Tabor Talk. Look at this, I am bundled up. So it's kind of a nasty day. Got my hat, I got winter coat, 1, 2, 3. I got 3 socks on. I don't care, I love it. It's raining and so what? It's October 3rd. And anyway, getting right into it. I don't want to talk about the weather. So halfway done. Really loving this. Taking a lot of notes. I'm going to be doing many video recordings on this book. Breaking it down. So right now, just finished a chapter on the finely tuned universe and the Goldilocks universe, if you will. We're getting into the anthropic principle as versus perhaps, well, the anthropic principle and the name of the book, biocentrism. And now this chapter here, no time to lose, no time to lose, the arrow of time. They're talking about time. Is it real? What is it? Entropy, time. Okay, this is deep stuff. This is what deep thinkers think about. This is the stuff that Einstein and Niels Bohr and all of the guys who study quantum physics, deep, high-level thinkers, physicists. Then you get into philosophy, too. There's science and philosophy. And you get speculative. I've done a video recording on what is science and what is philosophy. I won't talk about that. I'll go back to one of my older videos, and I'll be doing some more stuff on science philosophy. But anyway, here's what's interesting. Some people don't like to think deeply, to get really heavy. I mean, for sure there's some people who are incapable of it. They just don't have the processing power. Not to be mean, but they're just not smart enough. Not everyone can play the game of theoretical physics. That's a reality, okay? But there are some people who are smart but get very uncomfortable. And I will, for example, my father, I am a deep thinker, and I love this stuff. Since I was a kid, I've always asked the big questions like, what? Who made God, and why am I me and not somebody else? You know, natural-born philosophy and science and all the stuff. And I have always been. I'm sorry, I just glanced at a text I got on my screen here. It was a little distracting. Sorry. So I should really shut that off when I'm doing these recordings. So anyway, I've always been drawn to those really heavy questions. And my father, on the other hand, didn't like it at all. It would make him feel very uncomfortable. My father was very simple. He was smart, very smart in some ways, but yet not so much in other areas. And then, again, did not like to talk about, for example, religion, philosophy, science, physics, like the universe. Like if I talked about, Dad, did you know that the sun is just an ordinary sun? Like 1 in 100 billion in like our galaxy, and there are 100 billion galaxies, and in the center of which is perhaps a black hole, which could lead to an infinite number of universes. My father goes, "Oh, stop, I don't want to hear it. It makes me uncomfortable." He wouldn't say it like that, but he'd just say, "Stop, I don't want to." Like, all that stuff. It's weird. Some people are, you know what it is? It's fear. Afraid of the unknown, afraid of the immensity of it all, and perhaps afraid of losing your mind. Let me just say this. When you're at this level, we've all heard this, right? The adage, like insanity and genius is not, they're not, you know, they're very, very close if you look at the pie, right? So insanity, genius. So you could slip off. Many very smart people can just fucking lose it. You go down the wrong path, and you could be gone, and you might not ever come back. So that's the risk you take. But I would say to people like my father, I actually have a friend who doesn't like, and also a good friend, when I start talking philosophy or science or theoretical physics and quantum mechanics, he gets very uncomfortable, and he wants to talk about sports or politics instead, all right? So I say to this person, perhaps my father, what's the alternative? Like, listen, is it dangerous to think about these ideas and concepts? Can you go down a rabbit hole that's scary and, you know? What's the alternative? Your way of thinking is not the correct way. For number one, it's not correct. You're delusional on some level, right? Some level you're not seeing reality for what it is. And you're not going to make it. You're going to die and you don't have the answers. So you think it's safe. I want to be safe and not think of these heavy concepts. I want to live in my own little world. But actually you're going to die. Listen, let me try to rephrase this. So, thinking unconventionally, perhaps, thinking out of the box, thinking super deeply is a better path. Not only to me is it super interesting, and I feel every day like, am I on to something? I may go an area like no other human being has ever thought about, right? It's not that I'm special. I mean, we all are in some degree, but I think deeply about these really interesting concepts and ideas, and I try to think out of the box. So I read this, and I take it in, and then I try to do something with it, and I try to think of my own. That's what I do. I do half is the stuff I read, and then half is me taking all the inputs, processing it, and then Michael Tabor's Tabor Talk. That's what it's all about. So, just to wrap up, my whole philosophy is thinking deeply, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's exciting and it's exhilarating. Who knows where you'll end up, right? Okay. Don't be afraid of losing your mind. Just relax, right? Don't worry about it. Okay. Good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. Peace, love, and understanding. Here on Tabor Talk, podcasting from the Catskills, and it's cold and rainy, but so what? I'm having a great time.